Hello out there to all you degenerates and FinTwit nerds. Welcome to a very happy edition of Reactive Recaps here on Friday, December 1st, the start of the holiday season. Here I am, sat beside me, the most festive man I know this time of year, Mr. Bird himself from Trading from the High Discord, dropping his hot knowledge for all of us on these cold days of winter. How we doing, Bird?
Pretty good, brother. Pretty good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I got my daughter's 4th birthday party tomorrow with all her little kitties. Uh, Here's a fun fact, guys. If you ever want to get a fire department to show up to your party, just show up at the firehouse with a bunch of beer, and they'll do anything you want. So I got 2 fire trucks and 2 EMT ambulances coming down. They're all gonna freak out.
Beer will grease a lot of wheels. That is for sure. I've learned that one. And when you're overseas on deployment, it's Rippets and energy drinks are the currency of greasing wheels. I'll tell you that.
I love the blatant bribery of local officials with alcohol to get them to show up to a kid's party. It's fantastic, and I will absolutely bribe whoever I need to bribe to make sure my daughter has a wonderful birthday. So I'm really excited about that. Also, side note, if anyone's bored tomorrow, the Mid American Conference Championship is being held by the faithful Miami of Ohio Redhawks versus the trash Toledo Blades, I believe, or Toledo Rockets, whatever the hell they call themselves. Trash. Let's go, Miami.
I'm with you on that one. And we also have the SEC championship. Tonight's the Pac-12 championship. That one will be pretty good also. But I hope that your Miami of Ohio team goes ahead and wins it for you.
Now, if Alabama pulls out, are they in the SEC championship? They are, aren't they?
Yep,
They pull out a win. Are they back in the top four?
most definitely. I mean, they beat the number one team in the country. So they are obviously the best, one of the best four teams during this period. I mean, they had that loss in week 2 to Texas, but since then, Texas had lost to a 2-loss Oklahoma. So obviously, Texas is getting worse while Alabama's getting better. So, I mean, if they win, they're in. And if they don't get in, the college playoff committee is smoking absolute crack. Also, Alabama's point differential is the best in the all of the Power Five teams between their opponents. So that is also another good factor for them to get into the playoffs.
Well, let's roll Tide then. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that if Alabama wins tomorrow, and if Michigan loses, I think Ohio State's right back in the talk for top four.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but I mean, if Florida State wins, Washington wins, that's 2 undefeated teams, and then they may
Georgia in the mix too.
yeah,
Because they're playing, Alabama's still a really good team, so that might not drop them so bad.
yeah, and then I mean, if Texas might be in the mix too, also if Michigan loses. I don't know. I do not envy the playoff committee's decisions, definitely, especially this year. But I feel like Alabama, if they beat Georgia, it's a lock.
I think so. I think you're right. So, Bert, let me ask you this question, and this is totally we're moving a subject over. Do you watch NFL?
I do. I most definitely do. My team in the NFL is the Minnesota Vikings. I grew up in Minnesota and watching the Vikings. I had the opportunity to work on a charter boat at a resort up in Minnesota, and I met a bunch of the Minnesota Vikings players and Dennis Green, the coach at the time. And it was a pretty good experience, and I've been a lifelong Vikings fan.
That's pretty badass. Um, I went when I was in undergrad at Miami, Ohio. There was they, going to the football game is kind of like a big deal. So we went to the game. We played Marshall at the time, and Marshall had this no-name wide receiver by the name of Randy Moss.
Yeah, that
He,
guy turned into trash, man.
yeah, I've never seen anything like it. He literally looked like he was playing high school kids. They just threw the ball in his general direction, and I'm watching him just catch it through 4 or 5 defenders. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that dude was so talented. Absolutely so talented.
It's like a toss-up between him and Jerry Rice to me on who's the best. Like seriously, like those. It's just they're that good.
They are. And you gotta put prime time in that conversation also.
No, no, you're fine.
But
But
I think what gives him the appeal is he played both offense, defense, and all sorts of other sports.
yeah,
All around athlete, he is
yeah.
by far the best.
His coat, like what's going on in Colorado is just ridiculous.
I haven't paid much attention to it honestly since they started losing. Honestly, I enjoyed the hype while it was happening, but once they started losing, I kind of just stopped watching everything going on over there.
So like I read this article after the first win, right? Everyone was up in arms when they gave Dion like $8 million or whatever for a year. After that first win, no, 80 million, I think is his whole contract. They raised 80 million after his first win. Alumni dumped $80 million into that program the day after that first win. They made a fortune off this.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's crazy. Before we talk about trading, I just want to bring up one crazy thing that I don't know if you know about. The Browns. That's my football team. I'm been a Browns fan since I was a kid. Bernie Kosar. When I was a kid in high school, the Browns moved to Baltimore. Very salaciously, I'll say. And they renamed themselves the Ravens. And the first major quarterback that the Ravens ever had was a guy named Joe Flacco. Do you want to know who's starting this Sunday for the Cleveland Browns?
Is it
Joe
Joe
Flacco.
Flacco? That is amazing.
Yeah.
Was that
The
when they
irony is,
moved? Was that when they moved the team in the middle of the night in like U-Haul trucks?
yes, sir. Art
Okay.
Modell, the owner of the Modell Sporting Good chain, I have never shopped there since. Broke my heart. And now the old Browns' former quarterback is coming to play for the new Browns or the old Browns as their new quarterback. You can't make this shit up. It's the most Browns thing I've ever seen done.
How old is Joe Flacco?
He's like Tom Brady. He's like a couple of years behind Tom Brady, maybe 40. He was on the Jets last year. He was on the Jets, Philly, Denver since he left the Jets. I don't know what kind of financial needs he has, or if his wife has some weird drug problem or something, but I don't know why he's playing.
It's for the glory.
I guess the Browns are playing Joe Flacco. I might have to quit. I might think about quitting. However, however, let's talk about trading because I'm having a decent day today. I'm being more diligent about sticking to my rules, following my plan, not rushing into things, not chasing stuff. So I'm having a good day. So let me turn the mic over to you, Bird, and you can show us what you got from NQ.
All right. So here are some trades that I took today. Pretty much earlier in the morning, all my trades were just off of levels. I haven't traded a trend line, flag, wedge, or anything like that. I've just been trading the levels today. And the main levels that I've been trading are the Globex low and the Globex high. We had this solid uptrend through the day. We broke that uptrend. We broke through the Globex high, kind of came down, and we retested the Globex high, got into that area. I went ahead and took a long there. It moved up. I scaled out after 10 points of profit and then came back down, hit my break even. It broke down below Globex high. It kind of tested, gave me this wick here. I went short, and I am currently in this short right now as we speak and record. Looking at my trades earlier in the day, once again, Globex low here, 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 and here. Those were 6 of my 7 trades today were all on the Globex levels. And that's another thing I want to get into later is how to trade the levels, when to know when to get into a level trade and when not to, because a lot of times it will come into a level and just chop around and go back above, below, back above, below, back above, below, much like it's doing right now on this short that I'm in right now. But that is my recap for today. My trades that I took have all been on levels today. I haven't traded any trend lines, flags, or wedges today. So that is it.
All right. Looks pretty. I mean, the short you're in now, I wish I was still in it. I'll explain that in a minute. But everybody, I'm going to talk about SPY today. And it's going to be similar stuff. And I'm going to introduce a new term that me and Bert are going to expound upon in the future. But I just wanted to highlight this as something that's recognizable in the market. Whether or not you try to trade it or not, that's up to you. But it is a common candle pattern that a lot of day traders trade off of. I know Bird will agree to this. We'll agree that these is a good indicator for a reversal. Now, I am never going to advocate for you guys to try to catch knives. Okay. But there are patterns of candles that do indicate a high degree of a possibility of reversal. Do I think you should take them all? No. Some of them don't work, but some of them do. So this is where, while we try to hound on managing your trade, managing your plan is the most important element of this. If this goes against you or your rules for a second and you have to cut it and then it goes back the other way, don't sit there and trade hide and sight. All right. You know that nothing kills mental capital more than that. Thinking if I only did this or I should have done that. Who cares? Do it next time. No one's judging your past. Control your future. Okay? So, let me start out with explaining something that I wanted that we've talked about before, and that's trend lines, okay? So, as you can see, SPY opens kind of low, downtrend from pre-market, comes up, comes down, comes up, comes down, and then it hits a low of a day and reverses. Okay. So when it reverses, I unfortunately had to run an errand, and I don't put off errands for trading. Okay. If I have to do something for my family, I take some time away from the screen. It's a win-win. One, I don't lose any money. Two, I don't spend any extra mental capital. And I'll even go one further. Three, I don't care if I miss a move because I'm confident in knowing that they'll find another one. And this is what I'm trying to show you guys. Okay. Let's say you miss this big uptrend. Okay. You're not finding entry. You know, it's not breaking a trend line. You can't find your entry. Just hang out. Okay. Hang out. Wait for it. Okay. So as you can see, I'm not trading this. I didn't take any of this. None of this. None of this. All these could have been trades. You know, the retrace up, retrace, slow grind up. You know, buy every red candle, buy the dip kind of thing. That's a strategy that could have worked there, sure. But I was being a little bit more patient because I don't like to chase. Okay, you do you. However, once we get up to around noon, okay, this trend line from the bottom wick of the low of the day is starting to get some action here. So it tests it, rejects, goes up, comes back down, doesn't break it, doesn't break it, doesn't break it, goes up, comes down, breaks it, recovers. Still not a trade yet for me. Waiting. Now it's because it's too close. So I like to have it to retest. So it retested, didn't get much action, much like reaction to it. So I'm not loving this right now. Still, now it's going directly, every candle's basically straddling this trend line all the way to the high of the day. Now, the high of the day happened to be under the trend line. It popped up, made high of day, and then came back under. Still green. At this point, if it made the high of a day, rejected it, and still continued under that bullish trend line, that's a signal to me, people. That's telling me that this could change. Is it 100% right? Hell no. Is it worth trying a shot? Yup. I didn't go in heavy. I went in light. Let's see what happened. Dump. Couldn't get over the trend line. Even the next candle tried, couldn't touch it. I felt a lot of confidence in it just to wait it out, and I got what I wanted, a dump. Okay, this dump right here of about a point, you know what that is in option world. That's a huge win percentage. Take your money, and you can thank me later. Okay, that is my trend line trade. Now, Bird, I'm going to start a new subject to highlight this. If you don't mind, we just talk quickly about double bottoms and double. We'll start with double bottoms today, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
So basically, from my understanding, and then I'll let Bird say how he understands it. A double bottom is a a candlestick pattern that you should look for in the market. Okay, and basically it's this oval shape that I got going right here. Okay, it doesn't have to be the low of the day either. Okay, get that through your head. Double bottom doesn't mean double low of the day. It could be a double bottom in a separate trend that you're seeing. But the pattern looks very similar to like this. It comes down, bottoms, comes back up, bottoms. When you see a double bottom like that, it's an indication to me, especially with these wicks down here, that buyers are still present and that this could be an opportunity for reversal. And this would have, if you bought in down here, you would have taken a little bit of a loss, but you could also have waited, you could have been a little patient, but once you see it going green like that, that's a good indication that this is going to continue. And it sure did. So I know I'm speaking glibly and very, very generally about what double bottoms are, but it's just something to look for when the market bottoms, comes back up, and then quickly rebottoms. That means to me that the buyers are still there and the bears are not in control as much as they think. And the bears, if they can't break a double bottom, that means they're out of steam, in my opinion. And the bears and the bulls will have an opportunity to have their turn. So I'll let Bird explain how he sees it.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly how I see it. But I want to add to that first of all, the name of this podcast is Reactive Recaps. So we are reactive. We react to the price action that we see. If we see this double bottom forming, we do not go and put a limit order there and wait for it to just tap it and go long on that position, because a lot of times your double bottom won't be a double bottom and it'll just shoot right through and then you'll lose your money. Wait for that double bottom to actually form. Wait for it to become a double bottom or double top, whichever one it is. And you're not going to be able to get in directly at the bottom. You're not. Just get that out of your mind, okay? We're not trying to pin tops or bottoms. We're not trying to nail them and, get the closest to the high a day or low a day here. We are trying to get a part of the move. So make sure you wait on your double bottom for it to show strength, or on a double top to show the weakness. And then you enter the trade. But your recap on what a double bottom is or a double top is, that's spot on, Rancid. That is spot on.
I appreciate that. And I should have mentioned that, yes, never try to bottom tick or top tick anything. There are plenty of opportunities after this, what in my opinion, a very bullish candle in reaction to a very bearish candle. You could have waited, definitely, to see if there's strength, to see if there's a continued move out of these two wicks on these other two candles. Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember that when I say, this is the double bottom, that doesn't have to be your entry to the double bottom. Okay. The double bottom is just a double bottom. It doesn't mean you have to enter down here, or if you enter here, you miss the move. Be patient. If it's a double bottom, let it prove itself. And I couldn't agree more with what Bird is saying.
Yeah. And to add to that, double bottoms typically make really good anchor points for trend lines.
Yep, because it's two times where the bears can't push it lower, and it's two times where the buyers step in and say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." That's the line that you can look at it like it's a line in the sand. For anything that it's just another level of support and resistance for whichever side of the candle you're on, to be mindful of that and to be like, Well, it's going to take to break it one way or the other. It's going to take some real momentum, and that momentum should be seen in the candles. And if it's not, be very wary of entering those areas, in my opinion. So we're going to expand more upon this stuff, I imagine, in the next few weeks. But this was just sitting in front of my face this morning, and I'm like, we've been talking about it the last week or so. So I just figured I'd point this out, and I would recommend all people that are listening, and I hope it's a lot, but I would recommend go back and test this. Go back in other days. These are not difficult to find. All right, and back test it. See how often it works. See how often it doesn't. This might not fit with your trading style. It might fit really well with your trading style. This is not a mandatory candle that you have to get into. It's just we're trying to add a little bit more tools to your toolbox so you have other things to rely on.
Yeah. I think it was yesterday I hit a double top. Yep. Yesterday I hit a double top, and it wasn't the it wasn't the high of the day or the low of the day. Let me pull it up real quick here. All right. Okay, so this is the MNQ yesterday. We had this strong move down, and then we went into this flag here, and these wicks created what I like to call a wick zone. I believe I just went over this trade yesterday, actually, on the podcast. I'm sorry. But yeah, this right here is a double top. And then it went down, flagged, and then went down and continued down. So you can find them in the middle of the day. It just doesn't have to be the bottom or the top of the day.
Really take that in, people. Like a lot of people on FinTwit, I see they only call double tops and double bottoms at the physical high of days, at the physical low of days, and it can confuse some people that those are the only times when these patterns could be beneficial to recognize. So yeah, this is a Friday, guys. I know I have a great weekend plan. I'm sure Bird does as well. Aside from football, what else you got on the plan for this weekend?
That is it. We've got a lot of rain and lightning in the forecast, so I will not be putting up the outdoor decorations. And so it's going to be beer and football all weekend.
Love it. Curse and a blessing, all this rain, right? You can't put up your decorations. You got to sit inside. Love it. Love it. All right, man. Well, that's covers everything I wanted to go over. I got lots of stuff to still do for this party.
Yeah, definitely. Enjoy the party. Don't get too wild. Don't let the moms get too crazy with the firefighters.
I think it's going to get pretty wild, actually. But I appreciate that, brother. I hope you have a wonderful weekend with yours. And yeah, everyone, rest of the day, Friday afternoon at 2:00. I would recommend if you hit a target today, maybe you should think about calling it a day. If you're still out there in this market right now, I wish you all the best of luck and the happiest of weekends, guys.
Yep. Y'all make sure you are planning your trades, trade your plans, and preserve that mental capital because it is more important than the monetary capital. Y'all have a good one, and we will see you Monday.